Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Walking the Path. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful to be here and to be going live. Happy day, happy life, happy journey. Welcome to Walking the Path. I'm so grateful and so thankful. Man, I'm grateful and thankful. What a day. I'm so excited to share this with you, our final talk in the series on love. And today's talk is revolutionary love. Um, the power of revolutionary love. That's our talk today. So, welcome as everybody's coming in. And before I get to the talk on the power of revolutionary love, hey, everybody, I want to talk to you about rythmia because rythmia is like my second home. Like agape is my spiritual home, rythmia is my spiritual home. Um, I've been there for 7 years. And what happens every week at rythmia is amazing transformation. So this talk always comes under the auspices of rythmia. So I always like in the first minute or so to acknowledge rythmia. There's a retreat going on every week. Every week I get to witness powerful transformations as I get to facilitate classes and integration and work with this beautiful plant medicine. So if you're being called to plant medicine, if you're being called to heal something in your life, if you're being called to find a new purpose, if you're being called to make a transition, if you're at a crossroads in your life, any of those moments in life, it's a great time to check out Rythmia and see the power of this program and the power of plant medicine. But it's the plant medicine inside the program of Rythmia that's so powerful. So, okay, perfect. Now, on to our talk on the power of revolutionary love. So this is our final talk in a series. The first talk was the first talk in the series was love as spiritual alignment. And the premise of that talk was that love starts within. We have to first recognize and honor the divine within us. The second talk was love in action, compassion, forgiveness, and connection. Divine, love is more than a feeling. It's an action, it's a verb, and it's practiced daily. The third talk was expanding love, sacred relationships, and divine connection. That is not meant to be contained. It's meant to, it grows when we surrender. And then today's theme is revolutionary love, love as a force for change. Love is not passive. It's a powerful, bold, transformative tool. And revolutionary love means using love, working with love as an act of courage, an act for healing and for radical transformation in our personal lives and in the world. So I'm so excited because I got historical examples to share with you about all three of those points. So let's start. So what is revolutionary love? Like, what is revolutionary love? It's a love that disrupts, heals, and transforms. Revolutionary love disrupts, heals, and transforms. Hey, Susan, love you. It's the kind of love that Martin Luther King Jr., Bell Hooks, Howard Thurman, and other visionaries spoke of. It's a fierce love, it's unwavering, and it's rooted in action. Hey, Shelley. Dr. King spoke about the beloved community, and it was more than a feeling. It was a way of being committed to life, a commitment to a way of being that influences how we show up in the world. So, King refused to meet hatred with hatred. He chose nonviolence and radical love, sit-ins, boycotts, marches, challenged the system of segregation and oppression. And he preached love not as revenge, but as a pathway to justice. And he called for forgiveness and urging people to see their oppressors not as their enemies, but as people who had lost their way. And he frequently said, if we're victorious, we'll be neighbors with the people we're fighting right now. So Martin Luther King is an amazing example of revolutionary love and love as transformation. The civil rights movement changed laws, policies, and the course of history. But beyond that, it changed hearts, and it helped us see ourselves. It showed something, the shadow of America, So revolutionary love starts in three places: love for ourselves, love for others, and love for the world. Love for ourselves because we can't pour out from an empty cup. love for others, even when we have struggles with them, loving when it's hard to love, like King, seeing people who lost their way. And love for the world is extending love into action for justice, healing, and unity. So love revolutionary starts with loving ourselves, loving others, and then extending out into the world. It's always from the inside out. Now, the second piece I want to talk about is how do we embody revolutionary love? How do we embody revolutionary love? Love as an act of courage. Love as an act of courage requires discomfort. And it requires that we stand in truth and that we act in integrity. And it means loving beyond convenience. Speaking truth to power with love, not hatred. Choosing to stay open-hearted in difficult situations. This is love as an act of courage. I'm going to give you an historical example, but I want to go a little bit more into this. Love as healing in action. How does love work as healing in action? Right? So how do we embody revolutionary love? 1, as an act of courage. 2, as healing in action. Forgiveness and compassion and justice must work together. Forgiveness, compassion, and justice must work together. Love is not about ignoring harm, but it's about creating a pathway for healing. And revolutionary love asks us, how do we love and be accountable at the same time? How do we hold love and accountability at the same time? How do we repair what's broken within ourselves and in our communities and in our world? How do we do that? Okay, this is what I love about history. Nelson Mandela is the perfect example of love as an act of courage and healing in action. Nelson Mandela and the Truth and Reconciliation movement in South Africa. One of the most profound demonstrations of love as courage and healing in action is Mandela's leadership post-apartheid in South Africa. He spent, as you know, 27 years in prison resisting the brutal apartheid regime. And when he was released, he chose forgiveness over revenge. There's a story that I heard from Reverend Michael telling it on the pulpit, but I know it's in history, but I just want to acknowledge that Mandela, on the day of his inauguration, he had his torturer sitting next to him on the dais. That on the day of his inauguration, who buried him up to his neck in the earth for days. And then when Mandela would say, I'm thirsty, I need something to drink, the guy would urinate on him. He had that guy sitting next to him on the dais. That is choosing forgiveness over revenge. And rather than calling for retaliation, he advocated unity and reconciliation, even with those who had oppressed him and his people. It took tremendous spiritual strength. I can't imagine the courage that it would take to meet injustice with a vision of healing rather than vengeance. Unbelievable. And love as healing in action, after apartheid ended, instead of ignoring the pain of the past, Mandela supported the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. The TRC was a groundbreaking process where both victims and perpetrators got to tell their stories and confront the truth and seek forgiveness. And it happened again based on that model in the Congo, Rwanda. It happened in Rwanda. We just celebrated 30th anniversary of the end of the war in Rwanda, and they used the Truth and Reconciliation Council, and they're living together. The people that were fighting against each other 30 years later are neighbors. So it works. The Truth and Reconciliation Council was not about erasing history, but about transforming pain into healing. And it was based on a belief that justice without love leads to more suffering, but that justice infused with love leads to true healing. So this is how we transform the world through love. Mandela's radical forgiveness and commitment to unity prevented South Africa from descending into civil war and cycles of revenge. His love was not passive. It was active. It was bold. It was revolutionary. And his leadership showed that love is the only force powerful enough to heal the deepest wounds of a nation. What a man. What a human being we have in him. Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela. So the question I'm left with is, where in my life can I choose to act in, where can I choose an act of courage as healing? Where can I choose an act of courage and healing in my life? Where can I embody revolutionary love in my life? Plenty of places in the world today. You know, where in my life can I love more boldly when it's hard to love? We used to sing a song at Agape. I sang it last week. Love everyone. Love when it's hard to love. Our loving will change the world. Okay, the third point of the talk is loving beyond ourselves, taking love beyond ourselves, taking love as a ripple effect. And, you know, love is the most powerful tool for transformation. Every great movement, as we have talked about, is rooted in love, not hatred. Civil rights movement, truth and reconciliation in South Africa, all rooted in love, not hatred. Love shifts energy, creates healing, and makes space for new possibilities. So how do we extend and expand our love into the world? Be the love you wish to see. That was Gandhi. Model the love you want to experience. Practice love in action through service, acts of kindness, standing up for truth. Hold a vision for the world rooted in love. That's what Mandela did. Even when he was in jail, even when he was in prison, he was holding a vision of the world he wanted to see. He would get all of the men, and apparently, you know, some pretty hardened young men, hardened by the brutality and injustice of apartheid, growing up in that system, who then were thrown in jail and arrested. They'd come in, and Mandela would teach them nonviolence. And then he would talk about how he would design the government if he was in charge. He held the vision even when it seemed impossible. So what's another historic example of expanding love beyond ourselves? Mother Teresa and radical compassion. You know, one of the most profound examples of this is Mother Teresa. Her entire life was an embodiment of selfless service, compassion, and unconditional love. You know, she believed that love shouldn't be confined to words or feelings, but that it must be lived through service. And she dedicated her life for caring to the sick and to the poor and the dying in the slums of Calcutta, India. She believed that every human being deserved dignity and love. And regardless of their circumstances, she saw the face of the divine in everyone. You know, breaking barriers of class and religion and nationality. She was a radical love, radical compassion. And she often said that love is found, you know, not in the big things, not in the big, you know, huge acts. We don't have to be Martin Luther King or Gandhi, but in the small daily acts of kindness, that changes the world. It's not a grand gesture, but to be consistent in intentional love. And she encouraged people to start where they are, you know, by loving the person in front of you. Let's love the person in front of us, whether it's a stranger, a neighbor, or a family member, right? She saw that service wasn't a burden, but she saw service as a spiritual path. And she said, you know, not all of us can do great things, but we can all do small things with great love. I love that. Not all of us can do great things, but we can all do small things with great love. Just beautiful. Shelley, I see your question. Can you recommend a book on these principles? Yes, I can. Give me a minute and I'll come up with it. So what started for Mother Teresa as a mission became a worldwide movement. You know, it started small and it expanded to over 100 countries, inspiring thousands to serve in her message. Love is contagious. That was her message. And the more you give it, the more it spreads. And she proved that one person's decision to love can shift the consciousness of the world. What a great example. And my favorite quote of hers is, if you want to change the world, go home and love your family, right? If you want to change the world, go home and love your family. That is my favorite quote. And when we love with open hearts, our love naturally expands beyond us and it transforms our communities, it transforms movements and even nations. But as Mother Teresa said, We all don't have to do great things, but we can all do small things with great love. And her life is a testament of the power of love to expand and ripple outward. And her teachings beyond what we can imagine. So that's Mother Teresa. So we got 3 examples of revolutionary love. Revolutionary love as Martin Luther King Jr., revolutionary love, a love that disrupts, a love that heals, disrupts, and transforms. Love as a bold action in the world. The example of Nelson Mandela as a love that seeks reconciliation rather than revenge, and holding the vision of the world you want to see, even when you can't experience it. And then love, revolutionary love as an example of embodying the love and creating ripples was Mother Teresa. And her small acts of kindness ripple out into the world. So love is the greatest revolution. It is the foundation for all healing, all justice, and all transformation. So let's be bold in our love, fierce in our compassion, and unwavering in our commitment to healing. I really loved this series. So if this was the final talk in a series of 4 on love, and next month, I haven't gotten the download yet for what next month's topic is going to be. So stay tuned, but I'll be here next week, next Thursday. And I look forward to, next Thursday is going to be my mom's 102nd birthday. So, I mean, she's not on this side of the veil anymore. She's on the other side, but it would have been her 102nd birthday, March 6th. I think that's Thursday. All right. I love you guys. Diego, hermano, great to see you. Great to see everybody. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. God keep you. God shine his face upon you and bring you peace and love. Richest blessings. Ciao, ciao.